Hey guys, JH and Mr. X. It's just late in the day here and we've got the green free here. We've got about 46 yards to that flag there. We're just going to do a few down the line pitch shots, and we're also going to just show you a couple of down the line positions of the general channel lock swing, because a couple of guys have asked for that. So yeah, we're just going to, got about 46 yards there guys, tough pin. We're just going to hit a couple of shots there. We haven't hit any, so is your phone off?
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll just hit a couple here. Mr. X is just going to hit a couple. Here's a bird here on the green. He's never seen you pitch, clearly.
Okay, we're using the opposite lock grip.
Opposite lock, yep.
Opposite lock. As we explained in the last video.
Just wait till that plane goes. Every time we set up, guys, and late in the day, aircraft.
Third plane in 3 minutes. Okay, we're playing it the same as our channel lock position off the rear foot. A little bit of closed stance, closed shoulders, and the ready code.
Beautiful.
First one nearly went in.
Yeah, 2 feet.
We can go home if the first one goes in.
Okay, so the whole idea, guys, is just to reiterate, it's as much pressure as you can get, and a couple of guys didn't really get it with the demo we did the other day and the explanation. It's about forcing these two elbows as close together as you can get them, with the cups of the elbows pointing up. You can take your normal grip if you want to, but you've got to have opposite pressures, counter force pressures. Look at these birds here. Must be some worms here. Oh, a bunch of magpies have just turned up. Mother and father and babies. So you've got to really get it going this way, guys. The more you can do that, the more we can do that. Now, as Mr. X said off camera before we come on, I was just having a look at feel of it, and he said, well, you could actually have your normal grip, JH, but keep the pressure going that way. You don't have to have it off the shaft as much as we've got. You can actually have it, have a normal grip, but still have this counter wind, reverse winding, which pushes the arms in like that. And then going back, it's a matter of keeping the wrist cock out of it and applying as much ready code as you can. That's really what it is.
And the only feeling that I'm getting now with this is that my elbows are touching together. That's the feeling that I'm getting. I can't feel any hands in the shot. I just feel the elbows, and I'm just taking the elbows back and bringing the elbows through.
So it's done with the elbows.
The elbows are all that I'm feeling.
And like with any of the channel lock protocol shots, guys, long shot, short shot, you've got to really key on keeping that trail hip in place when you hit it, because the slightest bit of lateralization with a shot like that, it's going to kill you. Want to hit a couple?
Okay.
Yeah, they're really, the good thing about them, guys, they've got integrity in the shot. This flag's on a slope here, you've got to pitch it to the right of the flag, otherwise it kicks away. That's perfect. Go in. Yeah, so guys, that's what it is, and if you can see, we get a nice little
dollar.
Yeah, a little $50 bill type divot. It's not a pork chop. So it works great. I mean, Mr. X loves it because it's always been a notorious part of his game. And it really does feel very much like an arm ball. Now you can see back on where he was taking the club, very much in the channel. Now that's very counterintuitive. If you're going to hit a little pitch shot normally to a flag here on a short shot, you would want to keep the club pointing normally, just backwards and sideways, pointing at the club, but we don't do that. With channel lock, we've still got to have the protocol where we go here. Club face is under when we take it back, here, and it just comes through like that, with that pressure. Alright, now, just get yourself an iron. I just want to set up and show a couple of people where you are on a down the line shot.
Okay. What's our target? Over the
Oh,
green?
we're going to hit a couple of shots. Yeah, all right.
Okay.
You won't be able to see the ball because the camera's too high.
Well, we can just do the.
I just go through the positioning. I just want to show you the positioning.
All right.
Talk up.
We'll use the 120 over there as our target.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm lining up with my shoulders and my feet lying just left of my target, which is the 120 out there that you should be able to see.
See that the object target, guys, is that visual 120, the first one. Now there's another one to the left of it, 30 yards to the left. That's probably where he's feeling he's aligned. Is that right?
That's correct.
Your body.
Okay. And in doing so, I get that alignment. I bring my, what I call my Y, back behind the ball. Now that to you appears like it's pointing way right of the target. But that to me is only because it's already on my takeaway line.
You're into the turn.
I'm already into the turn. That actually doesn't affect, that's only a static position. It's not an actual position when you're coming back into the ball.
Well, it won't be that acute, is what you're saying.
No, that's correct. Yep.
Yeah. See, we overdo everything in the backswing to get the right amount in the downswing.
Okay, from that point, from here, that then gives me a visual cue of where to take my club, where to start my club. My club starts back here. And from there, the club continues down through the ball to the right of my target.
Okay, just do that again. Okay, now just bring it down towards the target. Keep it going. Okay, now he's going out there, guys. Now this is really important. The club's going out there, but that club face is pointing straight at the target. So he's into out, but his club face is pointing at the target. So he's going to start the ball a little right, but the club face pointing at the target is going to be, probably on a graph, he'd probably be 4 degrees closed in his club face, probably 7 or 8 degrees into out on his attack path. So he's going to cancel out to negative 4 degrees, which will just give him a little push draw. All right, now while we're here, off camera, we were talking about some more keys for us in channel lock, and very much for Mr. X, because he's so strong in the trail arm and the hand. Give me a break. Well, that must be every 3 minutes. And this is just a country town airport, guys. Okay, now for Mr. X, because he is so strong in that dominant arm, he has to isolate it as much as he can deliberately. It will come into play on the downswing as a matter of course. They're just anatomics, dynamics will make it work. But on the backswing, tell them what you're feeling with your left hand and your right hand.
Okay, I feel as if my right hand is not even touching the club. The hand is on the club, obviously, but there's no feeling of anything touching the grip. I only feel left hand only, as if
when you say not touching, you mean not applying pressure?
There's no pressure in the right hand.
Okay.
It's like as if I was going to swing one-handed with the left hand only.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I've got. So the hand is there, but there's no pressure in it.
Okay, guys. Now, the greatest player in the history of the game, Jack Nicklaus, he told me up close and personal when he was in Australia that's if you look at Jack at the top of the swing, Jack, these fingers are off the club, as are Daly's, because they have no conscious pressure in that trail hand at the top of the swing. They pour it on at impact, but they don't have anything in the backswing. They leave it till it gets down here and then they can apply it. So Jack was very much pushing it back with that lead arm, initiating it with the lead arm. Now in the downswing you're very much pulling with the lead arm, aren't you?
It's the same as my backswing. My backswing is pushing back with the left and pulling through with the right, left again.
Yeah.
Push back with the left, pull through with the left.
Okay, scale of pressure in the left hand.
About 9 out of 10. About a 9 out of 10.
So it's strong?
For me, it's strong.
Oh, okay.
Because that way it takes the pressure away from the right hand.
The right hand's got 0.
0.
-2. Yeah, well, guys, it's interesting because I was having a few timing issues today and yesterday, and we couldn't work it out. And I thought, what's going on here? And I think you might remember a couple of videos back, I actually said I'd increased my grip pressure in my right hand because it helps me, but I overdid it, as we always do. I just overdid it, and I got to the stage where it was just crushing the grip. So I backed right out from having a 7 or 8. I backed it out to a 1. And the trail hand is just sitting there like Mr. X's, and immediately the timing came back and the strike, didn't it?
Yeah.
Instantaneously. So we can all overdo things, and I just backed that pressure, built it up too much, and I just couldn't isolate the trail hand early enough in the downswing. It was just grabbing a little bit. Okay, so that's basically what I wanted to get across is just those couple of points there. Just set up again. Just come in and just set up as you would. I'll stand out here as your target, and you can set up to me as a target.
Okay.
Just come in from behind.
Coming in.
And talk them through.
Setting up slightly left of my target with my feet line and my shoulder line, as similar to a conventional swing would. Then I bring my Y piece back behind the ball, and therefore that immediately gives me the 5 o'clock nose. My head, my nose, everything is over my right foot and looking back this way. That also gives me the takeaway path, with the left hand starting the takeaway path in behind me, and the left hand starting the downswing out this way. That's basically my swing in a nutshell.
Okay, now you are pulling quite aggressively and strongly with your left arm on the downswing, or your lead arm.
I am.
Yeah, very much so.
Very much so, and pushing back with it.
Yeah, guys, now that's important. He's actually pushing back with the club face looking at the ball, which is part of channel lock protocol. Now the other thing, guys, that we're both working on as hard as we can, but it's the hardest thing we've ever done, and that is the 5 o'clock nose. Guys, you have to commit to it. It's been brought home to us by a video we saw. That's 2 minutes, that plane. It was brought home to us by a video we just saw yesterday of Hideki Matsuyama. He's like this, guys, no exaggeration. He goes here, on the downswing, he goes there. He increases his 5 o'clock nose on the downswing. I've never seen anyone else do that. And post-impact, he's further back still, to the extent that he's like this. Now, okay, you've got to be pretty flexible to do that. And what's he, 24 or 23 or 24? So he is flexible. But he's the second best ball striker on the world tour, next to Henrik Stenson. So he's got to be doing something right. And I think, if you think back of Johnny Miller, Jack Nicklaus, Mo Norman, Tom Watson, Sam Snead, all the great ball strikers, Greg Norman, all had huge predominance of 5 o'clock nose here. Everyone. Doug Sanders, Tony Lima, Gary Player, Johnny Miller. They all had it. And guys, when your striking goes off, it's because that 5 o'clock nose is moving forward. And what it does is it interrupts your structure. If we get to here in the backswing, here, and we're in our shape, as soon as that moves forward, the back angle will straighten up and we get out of our shape. But if we keep the 5 o'clock nose back there, it keeps the trail shoulder back and stops us wanting to get up. So it's so important. I rate it as probably the most important part of the channel lock protocol per se. So important when you're doing pitch shots. Absolutely vital, because you only need to move a couple of millimetres with a pitch shot and you're out of position and you're going to drag it or push it or flub it. So guys, that's going to be a big part for us going forward. We hit a few shots today, and I tell you what, it's hard. It's hard work to do it. You think you're there, but you're not.
Equally as important is the ready code.
Well, again, we had Mr. X hit some just magnificent shots with the ready code, and so did I when I got it. But it's hard to do. But guys, this is part of it. This is a total protocol, and if you want to have perfection of striking, you've just got to go to the level of commitment that this requires. Now there's 4, 5 or 6 things, and that's what they are. But the important ones are the ready code, the 5 o'clock nose, because they just do so much to the golf swing. They keep you in position, and the ready code here really does give everything, all other parts of the body, a chance to start moving hierarchically in the downswing. It's amazing how they do move hierarchically by themselves if you come to a stop here. Mr. X was pausing for a full second. I couldn't get that, but he was getting magnificent strikes. So that's what we're working on, guys. We're working hard. It's not it just doesn't come with a bow and a cherry on it for nothing. You've got to work hard to get it. But work hard and it'll reward you with magnificent, consistent ball flight. The only reason your ball striking will go off and your hitting will be not as good as it should be is if the protocol application is not as good as it should be. Okay guys, there were just a few points that we wanted to get across today. You got anything else?
No, I can't think of anything, Joe.